Today we're going to be looking at the payback period method. So this is another method that companies can use to decide if they want to accept or reject a project. We already took a look at the net present value method, and that method is typically preferred over this one for reasons we will get into after we are done with this example, so towards the end of this video. But if you want a quick refresher on the NPV method, it will be linked to the description below. So what is the payback period? Basically, the payback period measures how long a project takes to recoup its initial investment or cost. So let's read this example and figure it out. So EFG Company is considering a $100,000 investment that will generate the following net cash inflows. Using a 4-year payback cutoff, calculate the payback period and decide if the project should be accepted or rejected. So our costs of this project is the $100,000 initial investment that we are doing today. So when we're told to calculate the payback period and decide if we should accept or reject, we're going to have to compare the payback period to this 4-year payback cutoff. So the payback period, what that means is how long it's going to take this project to recoup the initial investment of $100,000 using these cash inflows. If it is longer than 4 years, so if it takes us longer than 4 years, or takes this project longer than 4 years to recoup that initial $100,000 investment, we are going to reject the project because it is taking too long to recoup our initial investment. If it is under 4 years and we pay it off in, let's say, 3 years, then we are going to accept this project. So the first thing to do when solving a problem like this is create a table just like this. So you'll notice that is very similar to the table that we drew up here. Years 1 through 5, those are all just the cash inflows that we are receiving from the project, and I just added one extra row here, this year 0. So this is what we are doing today. So this is a negative $100,000 cash flow, which represents our $100,000 investment. And then this third column here is just our cumulative cash flow. So you'll see how that works. So all we've done today in year 0 is invest $100,000 in this project. We haven't got any cash inflows yet. So right now it's easier. Our cumulative cash flow is just negative $100,000. Now after 1 year, over the next year, this project is going to generate $25,000. So our new cash flow is going to be negative $75,000. We took the negative $100,000 and we added the cash inflow of $25,000. So we took the negative $100,000 cash outflow from our initial investment, and we added this $25,000, which gave us this negative $75,000 cumulative cash flow. And you'll see why this is important as we keep going. Then we add $30,000 in year 2. We get negative $45,000 as our next cash flow. And we add the $20,000 in year 3. We get negative $25,000. And we added the $40,000 in year 4, and you'll see that now this switches to positive $15,000. And you do the last for year 5, and you get positive $30,000. So as you can see, somewhere between years 3 and 4, our cumulative cash flow switches from this negative $25,000 to positive $15,000. And we see that our 4-year payback cutoff is 4 years, and we clearly paid it off before year 4, because at the end of year 4, we have a cumulative cash flow of $15,000, meaning we've not only gotten our $100,000 back, but we got $15,000 over our $100,000. So we've got a total of $115,000 in cash flows. So that's what the total of these are right here. But we don't know the exact amount of time it will take to pay back or recoup our $100,000 initial investment. So it is very important to find the specific payback period, because what if this was a 3.5-year payback cutoff? Then we wouldn't be able to tell if we accept or reject this project. So now we're going to calculate the specific payback period. All right, so we know we are going to recoup our full $100,000 sometime between years 3 and 4, because our cumulative cash flows switch from a negative to a positive. Here, the negative $25,000, we recouped a total of $75,000 back from this project so far. And here in year 4, at the end of year 4, we recouped $115,000, which is why we were $15,000 over our initial investment. That's what those numbers in this cumulative column represent. But how do we calculate the exact amount of time? We know it's going to be 3 point something because it's between these 2 years, but we don't know exactly when. So how we do that is we take this $25,000, again, that's the $25,000 we were shy of recouping our full $100,000, because again, we recouped $75,000 over the first 3 years, so we were $25,000 shy. So we take that $25K and we divide it by our total cash inflow in year 4, which is the $40K. And that will calculate is the proportion of time between those 2 years it took us to reach $100,000. And that, when you solve that, it equals 0.625. And like we said, we know it's between 3 and 4 years. So we're just going to add that to 3.625. So it took us 3.625 years to recoup our $100,000 investment, and that is our payback period. And again, we're going to accept this project based on this criteria because it is less than 4. So our payback cutoff was 4, and we recouped our $100,000 in 3.625 years, which is less than 4. So therefore, we are going to accept this project. Obviously, if this payback cutoff was 3 years, we would reject the project. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said that we prefer to utilize the net present value method over the payback period method. That is because of two main disadvantages of the payback period method. The first one being we ignore the cash flows and disregard the cash flows after the cutoff point. So, for example, in year 5, we get a cash flow inflow of $15,000, but in this example, we didn't really even consider it. And if there was cash flows in year 6, 7, and beyond, we wouldn't even consider those ones at all either. So that is one disadvantage. With the net present value method, obviously we would consider all the cash flows and discount them back to the present value. That brings me into the second disadvantage. We assume all these cash flows are in today's dollars and we don't discount any of them back. So this method ignores the time value of money. Now in my next video, I'm going to be going over something called the discounted payback period, and that'll be linked to the description below. That method solves that second problem of ignoring the time value of money.